You know what's awesome about this group of people here? I don't know every single one of you here, but I'm taking it that if you are here with somebody that I do know that's here, you got my back. We got each other's back. Jesus Christ has our back. And so we just love being back to back. Okay, now we're going to get to hear from our friend Craig. I don't know his last name. I'm sorry, Craig. Tomeny. Tomeny? That's the way it's spelled. I would have said it wrong, Craig. I would have said it wrong. But I've only known this man I've only seen him a few times, so God bless him.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful
Okay.
He's a wonderful guy. Here you go. He's got some. Okay, everybody.
Can you? Oh, okay. Okay. I love hanging out with you guys. I really do, and I get huge encouragement hanging out with you guys on Thursday nights. It's like way better than any other thing that I do, like church thing, whatever you want to call it. I just get a huge encouragement hanging out from you guys, with you guys. I don't really know where I'm going with this, so just is that better? Is that a little better?
It's almost got to touch your face.
Oh gosh.
I know.
All right. Okay. Yeesh. Is that better? Okay, sorry. Let's see here. Ezekiel 37 has been really standing out to me a lot lately. Well, I'll start with when I was a kid, I grew up in this family, like my dad came, his dad was a doctor and he came from a fairly well-off family, and my mom's dad was a farmer, and they had 12 kids, so like mom pretty much kind of grew up poor, and dad grew up wealthy, and so dad was super busy. He was an aircraft engineer. He helped build the F-15 fighter jet, and so he was always at work. And mom came from this family where like her mom was raising 12 kids, so she was just like this crazy, like spastic, kind of freaking out, like trying to like take care of 12 kids, And so my mom just kind of like treated me and my brother like that. But I'm just like I'm a very calm, usually fairly calm kind of guy, and I like, like you got the like go on a trip mentality, like where you go, like, some people want to go to the city. I'm the kind of guy that likes to go to like the beach and like sit down and stop everything for like 5 days, Like, I don't like to go all over the place. I just like chill, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing stuff all the time, so like that's just the way my brain just works better, like if I can just slow down and think about things, So anyway, closer to the mic. Sorry. Okay, so one of my earliest memories as a kid thinking about God is like I had finished, I think it was 6th or 7th grade or whatever, and I had our whole family was getting ready to move from Houston, Texas to Florida, and I was a swimmer. I was swimming on the swim team, and breaststroke was my stroke, and I was at the top of my age group, and I did really well that year in my best stroke, and so I won the championship in the breaststroke. And so I was off to the what do you call it, invitational meet, and so it was kind of like everybody was like super excited, like Craig, like did something great, like he's gonna go to this amazing, state championship swim meet, and like I really struggled with the whole school thing because it's just like so noisy and just everybody doing so much, the math, English, science, history thing for me was just like, I mean, I'm an artist. If you guys know me, I'm a photographer. I'm a graphic designer, photographer, painter. I usually work alone unless I'm photographing somebody. But anyway, I'm there at this swim meet, and it's kind of like it's not like the normal swim meets where you're sitting there chilling and you're waiting for your race to come, and there's kids talking over here, and I would go find a kind of quiet spot, and you're sitting in the grass. This is like all the teams from the whole state like jam packed in this small area. So like, and it's Houston, Texas, so it's burning hot. You're sitting in a spot where like all these other kids were. There's mud all over the place and grass, and there's sounds of like races going off over here, and then there's like kids all over the place, and like I remember this kid was like, you ever seen this before? Like flies are flying around and somebody catches a fly and ties a hair around the neck of the fly and ties it on there, and the fly's flying around. And I mean, there's so many distractions. It's just like the freakiest thing, And I'm just like, I get a blade of grass in my hand, my fingers, and I'm like staring at this blade of grass. And I'm thinking about like all this stuff going on. And I'm just thinking like, what does all this stuff mean? And I'm, my mom and dad, they're like fighting with each other all the time when I'm growing up. And I'm just like, what in the world is life about? And I'm staring at this blade of grass. And I just started realizing like, there has to be a God. My point in saying that is like God has revealed himself to us through nature. It's really random here where I'm going. It's going to seem like it. I'm going to Ezekiel 37. Sorry. I'm just going to read a couple of scriptures that have been really standing out to me for the last several months. And Steve actually shared from Ezekiel, right? Was Steve? And also from John, and I'm going to read from both of those. Ezekiel 37, verse 1. The hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of the valley, and it was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. Some of you have shared your dry bones stories already today, and very encouraging. I thought, Andrea, your testimony was very brave. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. And he asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? I said, Sovereign Lord, don't you alone know. And then he said, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin, and I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded. And as I was prophesying, there was a noise and a rattling sound, and the bones came together and bone to bone. And I looked, and the tendons and the flesh appeared on them, and the skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. And then he said to me, prophesy to the breath, prophesy, Son of Man, and say to it, this is what the sovereign Lord says, come, breath from the four winds, and breathe into these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. And they came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army. And then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. I'm going to go right into this John 17. It says, my prayer is not for them alone. I pray for those who will believe in me through their message, that's you guys, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. So I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one, I in them and you in me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then, I don't think Jesus is coming back until this happens. Then the world will know that you sent me, and I have loved them even as you have loved me. Let me go here. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and he said, let there be light. And there was light. He said, let there be water, let there be dry land, let there be sun, moon, and stars, let there be. He says, let there be about 8 times. And then in verse 26, he says, let us make mankind in our image and after our likeness. So he uses the plural word 3 times. It's kind of interesting, right? 3. And we know now, so all of this is let there be, 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 let us. So he's really emphasizing this us. So we know now, he is 3 in 1. And he made us 3 in 1. Body, soul, spirit. And he said to Adam and Eve, you can eat of any of these trees in the garden. Anything you want to eat from, you may freely eat. And then he put these 2 trees in the middle of the garden, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And he said, when you eat from this tree, in the middle of the garden, this tree, the knowledge of good and evil, you will what? Surely die. So they could either eat from the tree of life or the tree that would cause them to surely die. But it wasn't called the tree of death. So they go over there. God said, when you eat from this fruit, you will surely die. If I said to you, when you stick your finger in that electrical outlet over there, you will be shocked. When would you be shocked? Right when it happens, right? So they go over there and they get in the conversation with the devil, and the devil says, you will not surely die. And so I'm driving down Shelbyville Road one day, and I'm like, God, it really does look like the devil was right. Doesn't it? Come on, right? God said, when you eat from this fruit, you will surely die. And they eat the fruit, and they're still standing there talking to each other. Doesn't it look like they didn't die? So I just said, God, you're going to have to explain this to me. I'm just driving down the road. And I hear the Spirit of the Lord say to me, he says, in my kingdom, it will be like a shepherd separating the sheep and the goats. And I will say to the goats, depart from me into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. This is called the second death. So I'm like, oh, that verse over there, that's from like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, right? In my kingdom, it will be like a shepherd separating the sheep and the goats, right? Jesus is talking there. And then over here in Revelation, it says, it's talking about hell, and it refers to hell as the second death. And it's like the Lord just like put those together for me, like, and I go, oh, okay, God. So hell is the second death. I get it. And then the Holy Spirit spoke so clear to me and said, so if hell is the second death, what's the first death? And I was like, oh, I get it. Do you get it? The first death was in Adam. You were in Adam, right? I say this, I tell this part of the story to the high school kids sometimes. I say, you were in Adam, weren't you? To the girls, I'll say, you were in Eve, weren't you? And she's like, yeah. I see. I mean, I said, you never could be here unless you came from them. I said, but that's the realm of the flesh. You were made in the image of God. You are body, soul, your soul and your soul is your mind. Your mind is dwelling in your body. Your mind controls your body. Your body does what your mind tells it to. So you understand there's like a visible you, and there's an invisible you, right? And they're like, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. And I'm like, so if you want to understand death, let's like, when you die, your body and your mind will separate. The invisible you will depart from the physical you. And that's really what death means. Do you get it? Death means separation. You got separated from God. Do you see that? In the realm of the flesh, you got separated from God in Adam. You were in Adam. You were in Eve. God departed from the whole human race when he departed from Adam. So Adam and Eve, they ate the fruit and they died. They got separated from God. Do you see that? And 4,000 years later, Jesus came and he was talking to this guy named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews, and he said, Nicodemus said, Jesus, by the way, you're awesome. He's flattering Jesus. He says, you're awesome. You do miracles. And Jesus is like, tell me something I don't know. He just kind of interrupts him. And he just goes, Nicodemus, you must be born again. And Nicodemus is like, surely a man can't be born when he is old. He can't enter a second time into his mother's womb and be born, can he? And then Jesus says, that which is born of the flesh is flesh. And that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. So first he says, you must be born again. And then he says, you must be born of the Spirit. And I love putting these two together. Born of the Spirit again. What happened to you when you got saved? You got the Spirit back again. You got the Spirit dwelling in your spirit, dwelling in your mind, dwelling in your soul. That's what happened to you. I'm very excited about everything that I'm learning with you guys, through you guys. I'm sharing this way of sharing the gospel and understanding the gospel because everything that we're learning here is for others. It's for you, but when Jesus said, when I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was naked, you clothed me. This is about preaching the gospel. When he was sharing the story about the man with the 10 talents, and he invested Jesus is not caring about telling us how to invest our money. He wants you to invest what you know about Jesus, about Father, Son, Holy Spirit, sharing that with others, planting those seeds of the gospel in others so that this world can be changed. Okay? This is the mystery of the gospel. You are taking what's in you and planting it in others. Okay? Am I done? Okay. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Okay. Praise God.